Well, it's been 100 days since the twice impeached, criminally convicted con man, felon in chief, absolute idiot has been in office, and he's getting failing grades in a variety of polls, even Fox News, and Lord, he ain't happy at that as well. Folks, check this out. A new PBS News NPR Marist poll, most Americans give him a failing grade. 45% of the U.S. adults, including 80% of Democrats and 49% of independents, rated Trump's return to the Oval Office an F. At the other extreme, 23%, including 54% of Republicans, give him an A. His 41% approval rating is the lowest for any newly elected Oval Office occupant at 100 days, dating back to Dwight D. Eisenhower. Now, the only thing Trump has accomplished in the first 100 days of his second term is signing a bunch of executive orders. We're going to get into those in a second. But according to the data from the American Presidency Project at the University of California, Santa Barbara, Trump has signed 142 executive orders. The previous record held was President Franklin Roosevelt, who issued 99 executive orders during his first 100 days in 1933, primarily to combat the Great Depression, according to the Roosevelt Institute. But, of course, it didn't take long for White House Press Secretary, that idiot Carolyn Leavitt, to just lie, and just hear a whole bunch of the lies she told last 100 days.
Today officially marks 100 days of promises made and promises kept by President Trump. This has truly been the most historic start to a presidency in American history. After building the greatest economy in the world in his first term as president, President Trump is in the process of doing that all over again. The American people trust in President Trump. Since his first day in office, President Trump has focused on defeating the Biden inflation crisis, bringing down the cost of living, and making the United States the best place in the world to do business, invest, create jobs, and innovate. And President Trump's efforts are working. 345,000 jobs have already been added since the start of President Trump's term. Last month's jobs report saw nearly 100,000 more jobs than economists predicted, and it was the fourth highest month for private payroll growth in the past 2 years. 9,000 manufacturing jobs have been added to the economy already. This is a sharp contrast to the 6,000 manufacturing jobs that were lost each month in the final 2 years of the Biden administration.
The U.S. employment. See, you know, I can't just keep listening to bullshit. 6,000 lost a month in the last 2 years. Boy, you conveniently skipped them first 2 years, huh? I wonder why. Folks, what's so crazy is that we also see that his idiotic tariffs, the role that they actually play, and he knows he's screwing up. So what did the fool announce today? He's reversing course on some of the tariffs he imposed on imported cars and car parts. Car makers that pay, go to my iPad, come on. Car makers that pay a 25% tariff on vehicles will not be subject to other levies, for example, on steel and aluminum, and they will be able to qualify for relief on imported components for the next 2 years. See, let me explain to y'all why he's doing that, because, you know, he keeps coming back with, you know what, I'm changing this, changing that. See, that's because the economy is tanking. In fact, the S&P 500 today closed its worst period. This worst in the first 100 days since the early 70s. I didn't hear Carolyn Leavitt talking about that. I didn't hear her talking about it. And now all of a sudden, he's claiming they've got a tariff trade deal with India. You know, they keep saying how they negotiate with all these people, but they won't tell you exactly who. It's just crazy. Just crazy. And so it's more drama. And look, this is CNBC's homepage. Go to my iPad. Look at that. Starbucks earnings miss. Coffee chain says see momentum will turn around. Then you go up here. Snap plunges 13% on headwinds to start quarter. Inability to offer guidance. Super micro shares dive after server maker issues weak preliminary financials. I mean, we can go on and on and on, and you'll see how awful the economy is doing. So let's get into it with my panel. Joining me right now, Joe Richardson, civil rights attorney out of Los Angeles. Glad to have Joe on the show. Dr. Mustafa Santiago Ali, former senior advisor for environmental justice at the EPA out of D.C. as well. Joe's from L.A., Mustafa's in D.C. Dr. Larry J. Walker, Associate Professor, University of Central Florida from Orlando. Glad to have all three of you here. I mean, I just sit here and listen to these folk lying. I mean, the man has screwed up left and right. He's tanked the economy. He's gotten Wall Street nervous. CEOs are constantly telling him, you know what, your tariffs are a pretty stupid idea. And he still keeps suggesting, Larry, that, oh no, that we're going to make so much from tariffs, you're not going to have to pay income tax again.
Yeah, tariffs are doing so well that Amazon, as we heard today, is considering put the price that you would usually pay with, a separate price that shows additional fees you pay because of all these tariffs. And I know, he's always talk about winning, but he's not winning in the United States economy, and Americans are not winning. And Roland, anyone who understands basic economics knew that this was going to happen. And if he continues along this path with tariffs and suggesting this is a way to stimulate the economy, then we're going to have a recession and we're going to fall into a depression that we haven't seen since the Bush era. And so we can't, and listen, I've said on your show before, Roland, this is a few months ago, a lot of Americans voted for this. And for those of us who did not vote for this, we don't want to have to pay this additional surcharges for everything from cars to houses to clothes to buying food. And this is going to really hit a lot of his voters, particularly those in those rural, underserved communities who insist on voting against their best interests every single year. But you also talked about him backtracking on several of these tariffs. But the damage is done. And if he doesn't reverse all of them and show some kind of level of sanity, we're going to be in for a long haul.
Oh, absolutely. And again, what you're seeing is sheer chaos from this nutcase. And, they love just sort of making announcements that never pan out as well. I saw this one story here where the Pfizer CEO said tariff uncertainty is deterring further U.S. investment in manufacturing R&D. And so they can sit here and yell, holler, scream all they want how great the things are going, but that ain't the case from the people who actually hire. Mustafa?
Yeah, without a doubt. I mean, Larry kind of broke it down for us, right? So we know that food prices are up. We know that housing prices are up. We know that car prices are up. And a number of other things, are becoming more expensive. But then we also know that 401ks and retirement plans are down. So when folks don't have disposable income, then companies that might be considering expanding or building in America, they understand that there's less disposable income. So they're going to probably not make those investments until they find some stability. I bring stability into our conversation because that's what the stock market wants. It always wants to have stability when they feel that, regulations are in alignment, and when they feel that policies are in alignment, then more people dump money into the market. And therefore, wealthy people continue to make money. When folks don't have that stability and the policies that these economic policies that they put forward have not created any stability, what it has created is chaotic situations. You are much less likely to have folks wanting to build in America. So, they continue to sort of, send these pipe dreams to folks. And because most folks don't have enough time to slow down and actually take a look at economic policy, to actually take a look at the numbers, they just believe what folks say there on the White House from the press office, instead of actually being able to understand that we are in a very dire situation. But it is a dire situation that this administration created, because actually one of the, our nation's best sort of economic situations was under the last administration, where they were creating jobs, they were creating stability, so forth and so on. So we've just got to make sure that when people are saying things, that we are actually ground truthing them, both in the reality of when you're going to the grocery store or when you're trying to pay your rent or your mortgage, but also in those unbiased places that share the reality economically of what's happening across our country.
You know what? I get a kick out of all this talk, Joe. Donald Trump is going to lower egg prices. Really? This is what it looks like. That doesn't look like egg prices are lower. Looks like they're kind of high.
Yeah, and that's not the only thing that's higher, right? Prices are higher all around. Everybody else has said what I would say. Basically, the markets thrive on stability and even certainty. Companies that want to invest, that want to do things, that want to do R&D, if they feel like they have a deal with the president and then the deal goes away, they don't want to hire thousands of people or invest millions of dollars to have something change on a whim because of a personality issue. So even folks that are on the right side of him right now, which is interesting. I saw Candace Owens talking about how she was just amazed that the president is going against the First Amendment. Well, he does things that are unconstitutional all the time. And so for you to think that you're on the right side of him right now, to think you'll always be on the right side of him, you have to look at him sideways. And if you actually have to make decisions based on what he says with your pocketbook, that's going to make you more reticent, more hesitant. People are going to hold on to the money to the extent that they have it. You have basically higher prices and less money, and that's going to continue to perpetuate. And so what I think is that what folks are getting ready to find out, if they don't know it already, we haven't felt the brunt of the decisions that he's made related to the tariffs yet. We haven't felt it yet, not like it's going to come through in the next 3 to 6 months. We are really going to feel it, and we're really going to understand what happens when you say something and then you try to reverse it, but you have a market that thrives on certainty and stability, and your word's no good. If your word's no good, it's going to be a no-go. And so that's going to get worse before it gets better.
Yeah, I mean, this is what you're dealing with. You're dealing with absolute craziness from this case. And again, his cultists, they believe everything is just wonderful, going along swimmingly. Yeah, but they got in for a rude awakening as well.
Hello, I'm Isaac Hayes III, founder and CEO of Fanbase. Listen to what I'm about to tell you. The window to invest in Fanbase is closing. We've raised over $10.6 million of our $17 million goal. That means there's room for less than 6,370 people to invest in Fanbase for the average amount. The minimum to invest in Fanbase right now is $399. That makes you an owner in Fanbase today. Go to startengine.com/fanbase to invest. Why? Because current social apps have taken advantage of users for far too long, with content suppression, shadow banning, harmful racist content, and no real tools for monetization and equity. Fanbase has over 1.4 million users and counting, allowing anyone to reach all their following and monetize their content from day one. Social media is the new TV, and whoever owns the apps that distribute that content have the opportunity to own potential billion-dollar companies. While big platforms with uncertain futures are failing to serve their users, Fanbase is stepping up to fill the gap. Don't wait until it's too late. Invest now, invest for yourself and your future. Go to startengine.com/fanbase and own the next generation of social media.